Salut, David Online here. Welcome to part 1 of the series of lessons that is going to teach you how to play fusion guitar. In this first section, we're going to talk about how to develop autoplay. Autoplay is a very important aspect of playing fusion. If you've listened to solos by musicians such as Guthrie Govan, Alex Hutchings, Greg Howe, they seem every once in a while to get into this autopilot mode, and that can be developed quite easily with a few tricks that I'm going to share with you. But first, let's define what autoplay is with an example. What I call focused mode is anything that involves an active participation of your brain in your music. You're actually listening to the notes that you're playing, you're anticipating those notes, creating melodies, focusing on the relationship between the notes you're playing and the chords you're playing over. All that is very involved and very important, and when you're playing, it's going to help you sound melodic, more focused, but it's very demanding on the brain. That's focused playing. Every once in a while you want to take a break from that because it's very demanding, very active playing, and for that you're going to use autopilot playing, which is basically running through the scale with some very steady rhythm motifs, and you're not really thinking about what you're playing, you're just relying on finger memory, and that's what we're going to talk about today, those transitions between the more focused times. That's where you're going to fill in the blanks with autoplay. When I started getting into fusion guitar, I started to analyze a lot of the solos from the artists that I liked. And I would tend to gravitate around those automatic playing. I didn't really know it was automatic at the time, but after analyzing these leads, I found that the rhythm is really important, sticking to a very regular tempo, and I found that 16th notes seemed to be the basic rhythm motif used in all these leads. If you have these 16th notes locked into your head, you're halfway there. Now it's just a matter of incorporating these 16th notes motifs into your fingers so that your fingers can play the 16th notes without you having to think about it. It's just like walking. At first you take one step and you've got to think about the step that you're taking. Once you did that a few times, you're fine. You know how to take one step and then another and then another, and then all these steps together would create a certain amount of time of autoplay. We're going to develop a few steps, learn how to play a few steps that you can expand on and develop so that you can create longer phrases, longer musical ideas. Let's start with a very simple phrase over this kind of beat. In the 16th notes, taka 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 taka. Here's our phrase, 3, 4. Very short phrase, right? Extremely short, but we're going to develop that phrase all over the fretboard. As you develop that all over the fretboard, you're going to find new ideas, and what you're doing is incorporating those 16th note ideas directly into your fingers so that it becomes an automatic type of motif. All these short ideas combined together are going to build your steps that put all together are going to make a longer solo, a longer lead, and autoplay. This is a very tactical, mechanical approach, and you might be wondering, what about the choice of notes? Scales are important, and the notes are important too. But remember that we are in a fusion context, and in fusion, what you're playing outside is as important as what you are playing inside. The glue that ties everything together is the rhythm motif, the steady rhythm, which is what you're building when you're trying to develop these automaticisms in your playing. The hard part of doing that is to not get confused. Most players learn first the importance of notes, and that's very important. And so their brain is actively involved in the music that they're playing. If a note sounds outside of the key, then their brain tells them that's wrong, and it is wrong in a sense. It doesn't work, it clashes. You need to not worry about that. You need your fingers to take over the rhythm that is implemented in your fingers, to take over. Let your brain take a rest. Don't worry about the pitch of the notes. Really rely on the rhythm patterns that you have built on your fingers. Don't worry about anything else and give your mind a rest, preparing for the next step. At first, your auto playing might be very short because your brain is going to start taking over and you're going to start being aware of the notes that you're playing and aware of these pitches that are clashing with the chords, and you're going to freak out, which means you're going to stop and your ending is not going to be very good. That's okay. Just keep developing those short ideas. concentrate on not concentrating on the pitch of the notes that you're playing. That's the key. Eventually your autopilot mode is going to be more fluent, more comfortable, longer, and you're going to be able to focus only on the landing notes. You want to end on a note that is in the key that you're playing. Landing on an inside note can be tricky and difficult, and it might at first seem more of a luck thing than anything else. That's why you do need to prepare some short ideas, short licks that are going to teach you how to land correctly. After a while of developing these ideas, you will see that your fingers go naturally where they should go. Here's a short example of a lick that you could use as a step in your long autopilot improvisation. Don't feel like you have to memorize exactly all the licks that you're working on or developing. What you're really doing is training your fingers to automatically play and land on the right rhythm values. Rhythm stability is the most important thing when you're playing in autopilot mode in a fusion genre. Remember to start with short ideas, develop, expand, work on backing tracks, and practice daily. To help you go further in developing an autopilot mode in the fusion genre, I put together a package of 30 licks, 30 fusion licks. These are not the typical type of licks that you just want to learn and incorporate into your own playing. Although you can do that, these licks were really developed to train your fingers to automatically land on the right notes. And there are 30 licks for 30 days, a month worth of licks, with tabs and backing tracks. You can download a free lick of that package on the link that is provided in the description of this video. Thanks for watching this. I will see you next Friday for the second part of this series on playing fusion. Next Friday we're going to talk more in depth on landing notes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Until then, salut!